name is Derek, and I have a studio where I teach drums in the basement here at Supersonic Music in Topeka. And I have a couple of drum set games I want to tell you about that I like to encourage my students to play. Sometimes it's about keeping a groove like you'd play with a band, and sometimes it's not. It's just more free, kind of learn some coordination stuff and having fun while you're at it. The first game I call Steady Ride. So here's the idea. You keep a steady click on the ride cymbal, kind of medium, not too fast or too slow, and you do other stuff. Well, what other stuff? I'll give you a couple examples. The first one, steady click on the ride, and I'll play some kind of groove sounding stuff with the bass drum and the snare. Now, if I mess up the ride, skip a note or come in early or something like that, big red X, and you get 3 red X's and you're out or something. Make it a game. Play something fun like this. So, first version, steady ride with a groove in the other limbs. Red X on that one. I hit the ride with the snare. Here's another version. Steady ride, but this time it's not about groove. It's about doing something that I decided early on that I wanted to do before I started. Like for example, I'll hit a snare or tom and then the bass. And that's the deal. Steady ride with my other hand and my foot back and forth. I don't know what happened there, but that was an X. So again, steady ride with either some kind of groove or steady ride with something else you come up with. Let me give you an example of another something else that you could come up with. How about I keep the ride steady and then I'll play each drum 1 time and then 2 times and then 3 times and so forth. But again, it's not going to sound like a groove you'd play in tonight's band. It's just getting some coordination going where you're trying to keep the ride steady. Here we go. Hit my snare twice. It was supposed to be 3 times. Let's try that one again. So I got around 4 hits on each drum, and then it kind of messed up my little X. Okay, here's the second game. The second game is called Little Notes. Little Notes' idea is just a bunch of short notes, kind of fast, like medium fast, but you don't skip any. So if you miss one, that's your red X. And if you want to put in there another little layer, another rule, it could say if you hit 2 things at the same time, that's a red X. So here's a version of that, a bunch of little notes. I hit those 2 at the same time. I'm used to that. Ride cymbal and bass drum. Try that again. At the same time. That was a little bit groovy. You could kind of feel in there. I wasn't using the bass drum that way. A little bit more groove. Here's the same game again, a little faster, trying to keep it groovy. Okay, couple red X's on that one. Now, the second version of Little Notes is don't make it make a groove. It doesn't have to make sense. If you want to have an idea of what you're going to do, like hit each drum 2 times and then each drum 3 times, something like that, you're free. Otherwise, kind of a free form. The idea, again, don't skip a note and don't hit 2 at the same time. So those are my 2 ideas of some drum set games. Okay, to recap, first of all, you've got Steady Ride. Version A could be you play a groove under it. Version B could be that you play some kind of rhythmic game that you set up like some patterns. It's not a groove. Second game is Little Notes, where you can group them together like they're 16th notes, for example, 4 at a time to make a groove happen like you'd play in a band, or just a sort of free-for-all, maybe that's got some structure of a bunch of little notes that don't skip that helps you just get around the drum set. All right, here's one last thing. In playing these things, I discovered a couple of little hooks, little things that I like to use when I drum. And let me show them to you. Out of the first game, one day when I was keeping Steady Ride and I was jamming, I just wanted to see could I get off of the ride cymbal down to some other drum and not lose it, get back on the ride. And I found this one little thing. I'm sure it's not original, but I discovered it. So I hope you can find one in your playing somewhere too. It went like this. Okay, not that. Here we go. That was just kind of out of nowhere. I don't think I'd heard it before. But I found, and I like it. I use it sometimes. Okay, so there's the idea. Another one I found is this pattern in Little Notes, the second game, where I put one hand up on the tom and the other hand kind of jams between the snare and the floor tom, and it's just this kind of open rhythm. It's a fun little pattern I found. It says this. Okay, wow, I know that's a bunch of notes, but check it out in context maybe. A bit from day to day, but I discovered that pattern playing this game. So have fun with these games, and I hope you find some patterns that you like yourself too. Bye-bye.